What is going on, guys? We have a box today. A box that I'm very excited about. I think I know what's in the box, but we're going to need to confirm. So let's check it out. Get that opened up. Get this stuff out of the way. Yes, indeed. I really did not think this was coming this soon. And I am super excited about it. We've got the SCX24 Gladiator JT model. Let's dive into this thing, get it unboxed, and give it a little test run, shall we? You know we got to take a look at this thing. So, on the box, of course, it is very similarly packaged to the other SCX24 models. We got a nice clear window up here showing the actual truck that you purchased. Some nice art, including the Gladiators, of course. We've got the Jeep licensing, your LED lights included, the warranty, and the RTR logo. On the left-hand side, we see that you have your two separate models that you can buy, the beige or the blue. I'm going to call it Quicksand. I got the Quicksand just because I love that color. I think it's unique. Of course, everything that's included in the box, and it lets you know that nothing is required in addition to what's in the box. On the back, we just have some of the features which all of us in the SCX24 community are more than aware of. And finally, on the left-hand side, we see the model number, specifications using the wheelbase like 5.2 inches, your ground clearance of 1.06 inches, and your weight of 9.45 ounces, along with all the official licensing. So we have Nitto, KMC wheels, CRC, and Jeep, of course. Let's get this thing opened up and see what we got. There we go. Now this is like the other models. All we should have to do is pull up and we'll have the truck out. Set that aside for now. What's really great, and I think this is understated a lot of the time, but they do include the 4 AA's that you need for the transmitter, which I greatly appreciate because it sucks getting a new vehicle and you got to hunt down some AA's or steal them from a different model. So super excited to see that. Looks like we also have an additional body post for the front because this one doesn't use body posts. It mounts some other way, which we'll have to look at. An extra drive shaft piece and an Allen key. This comes with much less spare parts in that bag, at least, than all the other SCX24s I bought. So that's interesting. Maybe a cost reduction due to all the extra materials that go into this one with the body, the interior, as well as the back rack. Next, we'll pull out the transmitter. Is what I believe to be down in here. If I can get this out here. There we go. That's just an empty cover. But of course, here we have our transmitter. And guys, we have the new transmitter. So this is a 4-channel transmitter. We also got a new charger. Interesting. Let's look at these. Okay, a lot to unpack here. Let me grab an old transmitter. So guys, here's the transmitter that it comes with. This is certainly new to me. This tells me that it has the version 2 ESC in there as well, including that 4th channel. Here's the original remote from all the models that we are used to, of course, the AX4 radio. This one looks interesting to me. It feels very cheap, but then again, so does this one with no batteries in it. I'm sure it'll perform just fine. We do have dual rates, throttle trim, steering trim, and reversing, as well as a bind button. So that's good. I think that matches with the feature set. I do prefer the dual rates and and of course your trims on dials as opposed to digitally buttons here. Looks like we have a button for channel 4 down here and our 3-position switch here. I may like this remote more with that 3-position switch there. On a rear steering setup, that would be much better than using the 3-position switch on the old remote. So that's cool to see. Enough of that. So far, initial review of the remote. I don't dislike it too much. I think it'll work great for this platform. You don't need anything crazy for something like SCX24. Let's take a look at this charger. So this is new as well. The previous chargers, I think I got one handy here, which I do. Previous chargers they came with looked like this. So this is just a little balance charger, USB powered, of course. It uses a micro USB cable, and this was in the old school SCX24s that I bought, the ones before this. This one comes with this, which is, it says DYNC 1063 USB LiPo charger. It looks like it outputs 8.4 volts DC at half an amp or 500 milliamps. I think I'll like this setup a little bit better. And I mean, to me, it doesn't really matter. I have a separate charger I use for these, but still, great to see that they're changing things up. I know a few people were having issues with these lighting on fire, so I'm sure that was a huge concern, and that may have attributed to the newer style charger. Let's get into what we all came here to see, the truck. So let's get underneath here. Let me grab a set of side cutters here. Clip that zip tie and pull this thing out. Wow, that looks excellent, guys. Take a look at that. The wheelbase is, let's see here. If I had to guess, it looks like it uses the stock Jeep front links and drive shaft. I should say Jeep JL, you know, the traditional one we're used to. And then it looks like the rear uses like the deadbolt style that are much longer. That's my guess. Don't take my word for that. I'd have to measure them to be certain, but that's what it looks like to me. And how does this body mount work? I believe what we have here is like a hook and loop setup. So what that means is it's basically Velcro. Yep. Work that off. That's fresh Velcro. So what we have there is Velcro for the body mount and a hinge in the rear. Take a look at that hinge assembly. It looks pretty good, very durable. We of course have our V2 ESC. This is the 4-channel ESC. It's got a built-in 1 amp BEC according to this this sticker on here. Excited to try that out. We do see the same traditional 030 can motor that we're used to in these. That will probably not last long in here. I think I'm going to convert this one to brushless, just make it a really cool trail rig. But of course, we're going to try it out in its stock format first. We do have the KMC wheels with the Nitto trail grips. And honestly, guys, these feel a little better than the ones I'm used to. I saw that Matt from Scale Builders Guild did post that there are some differences, and if you look closely, there certainly are. Let me grab an old trail grip to compare that to. Okay. Here we have the old trail grips that came on the Jeep JL, we'll call it. And we can see the ones on the Gladiator here are wider. They are a tiny, tiny, tiny bit shorter, and the tread pattern and everything is slightly different. So that's very interesting to see. Hope this is in focus for you guys. But yeah, that's very cool. Very cool to see they're making developments there. The old trail grips did feel really, really stiff too, and we all know they didn't perform all that great. And these ones feel a little bit more supple, so hopefully we'll see some better performance in the middle. That tire should flex a lot more than on the old one, so great to see. Still have the AS1 steering servo in there with the servo saver, so of course that's going to have to go after our initial test run. And of course your traditional battery that comes with these models, which is a 350 milliamp hour 2S LiPo with a 30C discharge rate. So pretty much the same things that we're used to under the hood, except for that new ESC receiver combo. Now the body. So we can see on the bottom here, that's your interior right there. So what we have is a traditional Lexan body with a Lexan interior. The windows are tinted, but one thing that's cool about these, if you didn't know about this and you look very closely, is we've actually got a little driver in there. Check that out. He's got a cowboy hat on and everything. Very cool to see. There's also an interior which is a little bit more difficult to see on the camera and even in person here, but love to see it. Love that the tint kind of covers most of it too. It just looks very good. On the rear, we do have our recovery tracks, if you want to call them that. I forget the proper name for them. And these are, it looks like these are removable without tools. Yes, they are. So we can just pop this off. Oh, hopefully I don't break it. Gotta line that up. Oh, there we go. Got it off. Dropped one, but there they are. Put those in the soft stuff. You can drive over them to get yourself out. And that just works on a little pin here that we can use and turn. We've got a little roof tent there. That does not do anything besides look good. And then of course we got our jerry cans on there as well, which look great. We've got a high lift jack hidden behind there, which is really cool to see. The bed is the same color as the rest of the Jeep, if you will. But that is about what we need for the overview. We do have the traditional lights in the bumper like we're used to on these models. And that's about it. So there's our overview. Let's get a little crawling done with this thing, huh? So guys, to get this thing ready to go and get it charged up, what you'll need to do is open up that body, pull your battery out of course, take your USB charger, find a USB port. Should Going that way, yep. And then plug that in. And I'm assuming when this light turns green, it will be fully charged. It's currently red at the moment, so get it charged up and we'll give it a run. Also, while we're waiting for that to charge, I did want to do a comparison here. I have a stock wheelbase JL SCX24 here, and I wanted to compare the wheelbases between the two. So as you can see, with those front tires lined up, that rear end is about 10 millimeters or so longer. Great to see that. That extended wheelbase should help us quite a bit with our crawling, our inclines, and just other control. So that's very cool to see. We'll get that battery charged up and we'll give it a test run. Let's do some crawling with this thing. Now we have our hill climb obstacle. Let's see if these new Nitto trail graps are up to the task. Oh, have our first rollover there. Try to come at it at a different angle here. Start up on the right hand side there and drop that front wheel into place. There we go. Wow, these new Nitto trail grapplers are grabbing a lot better than the old ones were. That's a steep incline. Here is the last portion of that hill climb there, so we'll try to get up on top here. And it looks like she's going to crawl up with no issues at all. Moving on into the downward portion, this is where we're going to see a lot of the suspension flex of this vehicle. Lots of obstacles on this portion here. You can see there, we are just about flexed out. Oh, up on the side. See if we can save it. There we go. We are going to run that same line for you here again so you can see that articulation from the front view. Sorry if you guys can hear the printers in the background. Over in my my shop, they're always running, so let's drop right in. Right on down. I also just found out about a super cool feature on this, guys, which I am going to really find use of for filming, but in the stock format, channel 3 here, this switch here can either turn the lights off, on solid, or on and blinking. That's super useful for filming because I can turn them off on the front shots if I need to help with the color of the shot. So very cool to see them add that little feature. Of course, nothing performance-wise, but definitely a nice little touch. Alrighty, guys, we will run the next section of the course here with the lights off to help with our video, of course. And you can see we're getting high-centered up there. That's something that you're going to run into with the longer wheelbase vehicles on short and steep obstacles. Drop down that little steep section there. Get those wheels turning. And pull up the little hill here, and we'll see if we can make the corner to get up onto that bridge. Alrighty, guys, we have the Bridge of Doom here. I call it that because it looks pretty simple, but it's actually very difficult to get up onto and then successfully get up to the top. This long wheelbase should help us out though on the steep section at the end here. So let's see how it does. Struggling for traction up top there, we got those wheels spinning. Ooh, first attempt was a failure. Let's try it again with a little more throttle. Take number 2 on the Bridge of Doom here. We're going to push up this here. And once we get towards that top section, we're going to give it a little bit of extra throttle and see if we can get it up over the top. Oh, we did a bit of a wheelie up there. Let's see if we can grab. No. So here's take number 3 on here. You see that I failed the last 2, and that's really because there's A, not enough weight in the front, and B, we could use a little extra traction. So certainly going to fix that with our first round of mods, but we're going to give it one more shot to see if we can do the bridge here. So let's give it a run up. It wants to go, but we're struggling for traction. It wants to lift that front end, and then it just falls off the side. We're going to call that a failed obstacle for the stock Gladiator here, but we're definitely going to get it going up that for the next round. Let's get a shot crawling down this obstacle, though. I always enjoy that. That's kind of fun. So let's see what we can do here. There we go. Right down, no issues, and that long wheelbase certainly helps there. Alrighty guys, so that concludes the running portion of this video, but do not be concerned, as I've got a lot of videos planned in the next few days for this little guy. I'm just super excited to start getting into it. So overall, I'm very happy with it. The extended wheelbase is a very, very nice touch from Axial on this. They do the same thing with the SCX24s. The difference between the JL and the JT, the wheelbase is longer. I really love these scale accessories on the back. It's certainly going to cause more rollovers due to the higher center of gravity this does bring about, but I think it's totally worth it for the scale appeal. Big fan of that. Also, that last feature that I just happened to find, if you if you click this 3-position switch for channel 3, let me pop that bumper up a little bit. We can see that the lights are controlled by that, which is really cool to see. So overall, very impressed with this guy. Really enjoyed pulling it out of the box for you, showing you what was good with it, how it ran. Love the look of it, love the interior and the little scale detail that they added. The price point is a little higher than the standards, from $135 up to $149, but I think you get what you pay for. You know, they're putting a lot of extra effort into the interior, the bed cage, and there's a little bit more material that goes into this since it's the biggest SCX24 that they have made. So awesome little truck. Very excited to get some mods rolling on this, and I did want to just give you guys a little teaser here. I have some wheels already mounted up and ready to go for it. These are the RC 4-wheel drive stamped steel beadlock wheels, wrapped in a Goodyear Wrangler 1.0 tire from RC 4-wheel drive as well. We will be putting brass weights on the front 2 wheels to help keep that front end down, such as like on our climb that we had there. These are just from Amazon. We will also be throwing a brass front diff cover on there. And last but not least, we'll be throwing one of the Emax ES08 MD2 servos on there. This is just one I had laying around, so that's the one that's going to be going on this truck. So stay tuned, guys. Mod video coming very soon for this. And also, we're supposed to get a ton of snow in the next 48 hours, so you know we're going to have to throw the tracks on this thing and make a running video. Thanks again for coming by, guys. Really appreciate it. Thanks to each and every one of you who subscribe to this channel. If you like what I do and you like the videos that I make, please, shoot me a like down below and think of subscribing if you aren't. And that's about all I have. Have a great day, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the video today. Thank you.